Hey tasters! This needs a little breathing time, so while we're waiting for this beautiful red blend to take a bit of oxygen in, let me tell you a story about the 3 sacred crops of ancient Greece. The diet of the ancient Greeks was based on the so-called Mediterranean Trinity. Those 3 crops which were considered sacred in ancient Greece were grains, olives and vines. And because each of these crops satisfied different needs, each of them also symbolized different values. Basic human needs were met by the grains, which were used, as they are today, to make bread. Grains, therefore, symbolized basic sustenance. They were the basic fuel for our body's survival. However, the grower needs to plant grains every single year, offering the seeds to Goddess Demeter, the personification of Mother Earth, hoping that in time it would deliver back its gifts. On the contrary, the olive tree, the sacred tree of Goddess Athena, maintains its foliage all year round, always stable, reliable and serene. Olive oil makes plain bread from grains more tasty and more nutritious. But alongside its nutritional uses, olive oil in ancient Greece was also used for heating and lighting, and also for hygiene, grooming and body care. I imagine those ancient Greeks were very slippery. The olive groves for ancient Greeks have always been places of tranquility and contemplation. And the olive tree has always symbolized prosperity and peace of mind. Of the 3 sacred crops, however, only the vine symbolizes spiritual rebirth. The vine in winter resembles a dead log. However, every spring a miracle occurs. New shoots spring forth that will create that year's grapes, that will create that year's wine. This is why, for our ancestors, vines symbolized spiritual rebirth. It was proof that life triumphs over death and redeems the human spirit. But the vine was not considered sacred only because of the magical way that the plant is reborn every spring. The vine has gifted humanity with the Dionysian gifts of transformation, spiritual rebirth, and eventually deification. Two more minutes. According to Aristotle, the principle of moderation lies between 2 extremes, that is, lack and excess. Aristotle believed, and I do agree with him, that nobody could endure for too long a life of cold, absolute, pure logic. Relaxation is essential for maintaining balance and our mental and emotional health. Dionysus was the god that enabled humans to lose self-control, to cease to be themselves. With wine, humans were able to free themselves for a few hours, to shed responsibility for a while. And for that short time, it enabled them to touch the divine. Today, we've largely forgotten why the vine was considered a sacred plant in antiquity. We drink, and we sometimes drink too much, without ever being transformed, without ever achieving spiritual rebirth. But the sacred crops were 3. The bridge between our most basic needs and the highest serenity of mind. Between the grains and the olives is the Dionysian element that brings balance and rebirth. Between Demeter and Athena is Dionysus. So, tasters, remember, in moderation rather than in excess is where we will find our true spiritual freedom. Now let's do some tasting, shall we? I have chosen this wine, and it's not a coincidence that I have. This wine, it's called Aioritiko Avaton. It's by Tsantali wineries in Greece, and it's a divine blend of Xinomavro, Grenache and Limnio. And I've picked this especially because Xinomavro is just the Greek red champion, a renowned wine, and it just captures so much of the flavor of Greece, including not just sun-dried tomatoes, but also olives. And I love the fact that this contains Limnio as well, because Limnio was Aristotle's favorite grape variety. So I think this is a lovely wine for this particular video. And Mount Athos has always been a sacred place. All the way until now, it's populated by a lot of Greek Orthodox monasteries. It is a unique terroir. In fact, it is such a unique terroir that it is protected by UNESCO. So, what does this wine taste like? I don't know if you can actually see the legs on this wine, and I know that legs don't really give us too much information, but you can see the viscosity. You can see that this is going to be a very rich red wine, and with a fairly high alcohol level. I believe it's 13% or a bit higher than that. And the Xinomavro gives this unusual aromatic profile. You get olives here and sun-dried tomatoes, but I expect to find some red fruit as well. Oh, such a tickle from the acidity. Definitely a food-friendly wine, a wine that can handle food that is rich, that is high, cooked with olive oil, for instance, or naturally fatty. I love the red fruit in this, and also it has this unusual, I might even say delightfully queer, notes of licorice and mint. I like something different. So, cheers, tasters. Everything in moderation. Of course, in ancient Greece, there was no lockdown, so I will top up my Dionysian gift of rebirth, because we all need to get through this. And I will see you very soon. Cheers.